Hi, I'm here. I'm here. Welcome. Am I looking for my show notes? Yes. Did I email them to myself? Yes. Are they here? No. No, they are not. They are not here. They're not here. I know I emailed them to myself. I definitely did. Oh. Can I find them here? Nope. Nope, they have vanished. They have vanished. The internet gods would like me to just wing it, apparently, because I had them and they are completely gone. That's wild. That is wild. Let me check one more thing, chat. Hi, chat. How are you? Well, I'm fighting with technology. Tell me where you're coming in from, what you're sipping on, what you're snacking on. How was your week? Have you had a week? I have had a week. It's been a great week, but I have had a week. So, how are you? Are you having a wonderful Valentine's Day? It's Valentine's Day. I tried to make these pink. I tried to make my lights pink. And first I made them red and it was lovely, and then I sat down in front of the camera and I, looked like Casper. So, we decided that that wasn't gonna happen tonight. We being me, myself, and I am about as discombobulated as you can get this evening. It's been that kind of week. You can tell. It fits in with my thumbnail, right? It totally fits in with my thumbnail. No, my show notes are all gone. My show notes are all gone. Gone. Poof. Bye-bye. Um, so I guess we're winging it. I guess we're just completely and totally winging it because they're not anywhere. I'm gonna look in one more place. I'm gonna look in one more place. Nope. Nope. I found one thing and it's completely disappeared. Hmm. I think I thought I was put together. I really thought I was put together, and I'm not. You know what? I'm gonna try one more thing if I can reach it. What do you say, chat? Shall I try? Shall I try and reach this? I don't know. We have one more option for show notes, and otherwise, it's like the thumbnail, right? I had this whole plan for the show. I did. I had the whole plan ready for the show. My folks and I ended up sitting down and watching the Sec- the Secret Mall Apartment. That's the name of it. It's on Netflix. 10 out of 10 recommend. Also, are you a friend of mine from Providence? Definitely go check it out because it's Providence. So if you don't know them, you know somebody who knows them. Anyway, it's a crazy story. I will give you the TLDR in a minute. Um It happened like, it was all discovered the secret mall apartment was discovered about the time that I was moving to Providence. Um, so it was all over the newspapers, I remember around that time. I'm not sure how much attention I was paying to it at the time, but it's a wild story. It is, and it got me thinking about a lot of things, which is why that was going to be the crux of the entire show. And then it was the Super Bowl. And then it was the Super Bowl. Mom says, Mom's feeling the same way. Finally got here. Screw plans. Do your best improv. You know, we, uh, how many times do I hear streaming is dynamic? Hmm. Yep. So we're just winging it. It's Valentine's Day anyway, and yeah. So anyway, then the Super Bowl show happened, which was an experience. Was I watching it in real time? No. Did I go back and find it after? Yes. Um, so I want to cover some things like that. Chat, you're gonna have to keep me in line because my notes are in another computer. So you're gonna have to keep me in line tonight. But Super Bowl, the dueling halftime shows, which, the bots were out in force. Like, I don't know. I know Turning Point claims they didn't pay anybody, but let me tell you, it there is nothing about my algorithm on one of my channels that would ever lead to any of those things popping into my feed. So I know that bots were in well, my best guess. I do not know beyond a reasonable doubt, but I am going to wager that the bots were out in force because I can tell you that Turning Point had their very white, very bland halftime show on 3 different channels. 3. And every single one got put in front of my, feed at some point. I'm not okay with that. I do not like that. That was not fun for me. The algorithm has sorted itself out again, but anyway, there was that. And then, so I was like, "Okay, well, we can stick with Super Bowl. We can stick with talking about art because good heavens, we all need a breath from this crazy news." And then more Epstein files dropped, and then Pam Bondi, uh, testified. That's a strong word for what happened, before Congress, and it was an experience. I will not subject any of you to the Pam Bondi thing. I won't do it. But there was that. However, I did have some wonderful, wonderful conversations with people in real life this week. I want to give a huge shout out to my dentist and their office because not only are they an amazing dentist here in Maine, um, but also we were chatting and the only reason I'm not naming them at the moment is because I do not have their explicit permission to do so. So that's why. But they pop in from time to time and give a listen. So um if if you guys are listening, thank you so much for always for every time I go in for teeth cleaning, you guys lift me up so much, and I appreciate your presence, and I appreciate, your wonderful, kind words. So, amongst the things that they said is one of them said that they look forward to these shows because when the world can get really dark and heavy, um, they for them, I bring a little bit of light and a little bit of hope, and that means the world to me. So that is um, that just makes me feel so good. I am, as I said to them, I am your friendly neighborhood pathological optimist, and I am here to hang out with you every Saturday. If you are new to the channel, hi, welcome. Please do all of the YouTubey things. We just moved over from the old channel, The Unfiltered Tea. Um, and digitally, can I just say that when you are moving website platforms and channels names and building new channels, it is the digital equivalent of moving. So there's a ton of stuff that I am still finding. There's a ton of stuff that I am still missing. Um, but we're gonna get there. And I think we're finally here. And with that, I should probably roll the intro so that you know who I am, because I did work on an intro. And then let's talk art. Let's talk Super Bowl. Well, art first. Secret apartment first. We'll start with the really lights. I'm only gonna touch on the heavy stuff. Mm, can you see me buffering in real time and realizing that that's maybe a bad plan? Chat, chat, my lovelies. Do we wanna get the Pam Bondi and Epstein of it all just out of the way? We'll cover it a smidge. We'll say we handled the news and then move on to the lighter things, or do we wanna do lighter stuff and then that? Also, if there's a thing you want that I said I was gonna follow up on and I have forgotten, I'm winging it tonight, so drop that in the chat. But think about that while I roll the intro. Can I find the intro? This is it? I think? Wait. Yes? Let's find out. Welcome to Bark a Lot with the Aurora H. White. I'm a legal biller by trade, opinionated law and politics nerd by default. I'm here to break down the political, pop culture, and court headlines that we're all talking about. We value facts, thoughtful discussion, and salty language, so whether you're a fellow law nerd, a political junkie, or just looking for a little hope in today's crazy world, you're in the right place. Tap that subscribe button, pull up your soapbox, and let's go. Let's go. I got over here. Is this what I wanted? Maybe. Nope. Nope. That's what I wanted to do. That. Am I? Chrome, what is wrong with you? Chrome updated, and that is not what I. Oh my goodness. All right, let's talk Epstein. Let's talk Pam Bondi. Because I want to get that done and out of the way. I'm not subjecting you to Pam Bondi. I'm not. I'm not. I if you, let me know if you watched any of that testimony. There was a moment that I did love though. I absolutely, absolutely loved the moment. Uh, just bear with me on this one. Where Congressman Lou had asked her a question and she said there was no evidence that Trump had ever committed a crime. And I'm like, well, first off, the man is convicted of 34 felonies. So that's a problematic statement that she just made right out of the gate. Second of all, they are looking at all of these files and can see things that some of us can see, some of us can't, because some of them are going and looking at these on what should be unredacted documents. And he said that she said there was no evidence of Trump ever committing a crime. And he said, I believe that you just committed perjury. I believe you just perjured yourself. Don't you accuse me of a crime. Well, don't commit perjury, ma'am. Don't do it. Mama saying did not watch, only read snippets of it. Wise. Very wise. And then Leah, that's the only part I watched. Yeah. Yeah, that's the only part worth watching, truly, because it was a very cathartic moment. Mostly she just yelled at them. She had what appeared to be sheets of everybody's search history when they were going to pull up the files, which is a problem. That's a whole different show. And while they were calling it her burn book, children, if you have not watched Mean Girls, I mean the OG movie, go watch it. I know the musical is great too, but anyway. But here's the thing, that level of drama, that insanity that I witnessed, because I listened to it while I was working, and it was just I watch a lot of court. I see a lot of crazy stuff, and that was next level. I was talking with somebody earlier, and I was like, I want that kind of treachery and insanity and drama and rudeness confined to my 90s teen movies or Traitors. Don't give me any spoilers. I'm not caught up yet. Or BravoCon. I mean, there are places where it is perfectly legitimate and we need it. And Congress isn't the place. Sorry, got a little heated there for a moment. I am gonna take a moment though. I do want to say this. Oh, don't not so calm down, Aurora. Calm down. Do not go knocking your mic all over the place. Okay, I do want to say this because I've seen this in a few places and I want to take a moment. Gather round, chat, gather round. If I'm body doubling with you, you do not have to watch this. So you can keep listening, it's fine. You can keep playing your games, it's totally fine. But I want to tell everybody because I'm seeing this sentiment all over the place. I'm seeing content creators feeling like they're not doing enough. I am seeing friends of mine worried that they aren't reading the Epstein files close enough or not searching it close enough or not looking. And here's the thing, I am not going and doing deep dives into it myself. There's a reason for that because there is stuff in there that under normal circumstances there would be ways to keep it confined, right? So, for example, just bear with me tonight. I'm a little all over the place. But for example, if you are sitting on a jury, and we are in this particular case, when it comes to the Epstein stuff, we are the jury of public opinion. That is what is happening here. And we, as jurors of the public, ultimately will have to make decisions as to how we, as a group, move forward and handle all of this and all of this knowledge. I'm going to caution some folks. I have not done a deep dive into the statute of limitations on a lot of these crimes in a lot of jurisdictions. I can. If we want to do that, please let me know because I'm curious. I might do it anyway and drag you along with me. But I want to let you know and warn you ahead of time that for a lot of these crimes, my guess is that the statute of limitations has in fact run out. For example, why did E. Jean Carroll sue Donald Trump instead of take him to criminal court? Prosecutors could not bring criminal charges because the statute of limitations had run out on that particular crime. If you want to see that changed, you have to make that known to your representatives because, for example, there is no statute of limitations on crimes like murder. There are generally laughable statute of limitations on the types of crimes that are laid out in detail in these files. I personally have a problem with that because science tells us that it can take many, many, many more years for anybody to even realize that they were victims. And then it doesn't seem to matter what the victims say or do, the cards are stacked against them. So we can work on changing that. All of that is to say that we are the jury of public opinion. So at the end of the day, whether or not any of these things go to court, they will go to the court of public opinion. However, what happens normally is in a case like this or multiple cases like this, prosecutors would take the wealth of evidence that they have and they would choose the best evidence to tell the story, to present to the jury, to get them to say beyond a reasonable doubt this person is guilty, right? So they would not just dump everything on the jury and say figure it out, give us your verdict. That's not what happens. The prosecutor takes the files and takes the documents and presents the evidence in a way that tells the story of the crimes and then puts it in the jury's hands. There are tons of pretrial motions that go before a judge. There are certain things that would never come in because it is prejudicial, not probative, which is for this crime that you are charging, this other terrible thing is not, it doesn't do anything other than say vote guilty because bad person. Um, and the regime seems to have made a choice to just dump everything on the jury of public opinion without any of that. They're just like, filter through the files, see what you can find. And for most people, you cannot, if you're on a jury, you have to do your civic duty, you have to do your jury duty, you have to allow yourself to see some horrible things. But then then you can go to therapy and then you can process things afterwards. What they have done to the public instead is just dump everything on us and said, "Figure it out." And so if you feel like you are not doing enough, if you feel like you are not researching enough, don't worry about it. It's not necessarily good to do that. What I would suggest, there are plenty of various folks out there that are sifting through the documents, they're sifting through things, they are putting themselves through that. There are a couple of attorneys whose name I cannot remember because I only just started following them on Threads that are sifting through things with an attorney's eye, and they are going through everything and just presenting what is helpful to the public. Now, with this in mind, we are staring at the Democrats potentially filibustering because we're in the middle of a partial government shutdown yet again. And I saw somebody say online earlier today that instead of getting up there and reading the phone book or something like that, that the Dems should get up there and start reading the Epstein files. And I said, make this the longest opening argument in history. If you're going to filibuster, I think it's a great idea. Dems, if you're going to filibuster, if you got to filibuster to keep ICE from doing their awful stuff, like put together a case. There's plenty of attorneys there. Get yourselves together, pull together a team, and bring it, use the Senate floor as court. If you're going to filibuster, use it as court and deliver the longest opening argument in the history of anywhere. That's my personal vote. I think you should do that. Also, Mainers, Susan Collins has got to go. She's got to go. All right, I am going to swoop. I am going to cover. Do I want to cover the SAVE Act? No, because I want to actually do that properly. The SAVE Act, well, I'm going to rant in a second. Let me swoop, let me rant, then we will come back. And let's swoop. Let's swoop. Let's swoop. If you have a cat in your lap, nope, we're going to do squirrel swoop because I'm like an overcaffeinated squirrel tonight. Okay. Did I just lose my train of thought? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I had a whole plan and my thoughts interrupted themselves. Twice now. And now I can't remember what my original thought was. Do you ever have that happen where two thoughts crash into each other and then they obliterate each other? It's not fun at all. Say back, rant. There we go. I got back there. Okay. First, I have to rant because Dems. Seriously, we suck at marketing. We s the I know y'all get the centrist Dems tend to get real mad at the progressives, um, because the progressives are better at marketing. The progressives are better at marketing. Um, and so I and the Republicans are next level at marketing. So what do? They come up with an act. They call it the SAVE Act. What does the SAVE Act actually do? It disenfranchises at the end of the day. If you want to debate it, we can go over the facts. But the facts indicate that it's going to disenfranchise a ridiculous amount of voters, especially with a particular look at women. Because what do many women do when they get married? They change their last name. They take on their spouse's surname. Um, it also affects trans people. Now, if you are somebody who happens to come across my channel and you don't think trans is, um, well, you can in this space in this channel here, humans are humans. If somebody says that they are a they and them, they are they them, and that's how we address them because that is what they wish. Um, I have a ton of trans folks in my life that are some of the best people I've ever known. Um, don't we do not disparage. We are not. There is no turfness here. We don't approve of that. Um, So, yeah. No, we're not gonna go there. So that is the other group that the SAVE Act affects. And that's really the in a lot of Republican minds, I think they're coming after trans people because they don't understand it, so they're afraid of it, and they don't wanna understand it. So they don't want to allow these people to vote. The reality is they don't want anybody other than themselves to vote, and that's gonna be a problem for me. So, yeah, we gotta protect our right to vote. The SAVE Act, despite its lovely name, is you have to be a very particular type of person, and it involves, certain colors of skin, certain wealth, all of that in order to be able to have all those documents, and for anybody saying, "Well, it's not that hard, just get your birth certificate." I do not have my real ID yet. Why do I not have my real ID yet? Because when I went to go get it last year, a year and a half ago, something insane like that, the birth certificate that I had was not the official birth certificate, so I had to order one from from the town I was born in because I do not live in that state. And yes, Mainers, I'm a transplant. I'm a biscuit, Mainers. Um, but I had to order it. So they took my money right away. But it was over a year before it eventually arrived in the mail. So just let that sink in as far as voting goes. Anyway, great marketing, terrible act. Contact your senators. And Maine, uh, we have to clean house. We have to clean house this fall. Because the folks that we have sent have done pissed me off at the moment. I could probably rant again about Merrick Garland, and I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna swoop, and then I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna swoop, and then we're gonna take a moment, and I'm gonna sponsor myself. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take a moment, and I'm gonna sponsor myself because I can't now. Squirrel. Okay. We're gonna have a little breather before we move on to art and things. Um, share screen. So We're gonna have a little Aurora inception at the moment. I need to fix the background that I'm looking at. Anyway, Aurora inception here. So while I've been intermittent with the shows, I have been working really hard on building my new website, my new old website. So barksalotmedia.com, because that's the name of my company. This is a Barksalot Media production that you see. The show is Bark a Lot, but this is a Barksalot Media production. So you can check out my website and pop in over here. But guys, we have merch now. We have merch now because I was talking with somebody and I gave them the tagline to the end of the show, how I always sign off with you folks with the Be Well, Do Good, Bark a Lot. And somebody said I need that on a t-shirt. Well, t-shirts are for warm weather for me, but right now you can, in fact, get it on a hoodie. You can get Barks a Lot Media on a hat. You can get, so this is a doggy sweater. I need, if you want to be the first one, because I have not gotten one for Miss Macy yet. So if you want to be the first one, reach out to me. If you know me in real life, text me so that I can get you um a a discount or something. We can connect. But anyway, we have doggy sweater. I'm super excited about the doggy sweater. Um anyway, so we've got that. We've got, you can, if you click this button here on the website, it'll take you right to the amazing site. So a lot of you know that I pay attention to what big time YouTubers use, and I know why they use them. So cheers, not sponsored yet. But Shopify made it so easy to get this merch set up and do this merch drop. So I'm super excited about that. Also, yes, every dog that you see is is a dog of in my world, in my life. But if you want some extra bonuses, I now have memberships available for you. So it's a way to support the channel. It's a way to help the channel grow. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this loud and clear, and I'm going to make myself bigger. No, and big in me. And big in me. Okay. I want you to hear this loud and clear. I'm sponsoring myself because I can and I would love to. If you can afford it and you want any of these things, great. It's a huge support to the channel. Love that. It is part of building the community, and that's really what we're here to do, is build this community with us. However, if you do not have this as disposable income, if you do not have extras, don't do this. Don't. I would rather have you here and be a part of the community than have you struggle and send me something that you can't afford. So don't do it unless you can and you want to. Can and want. Those are two very important things. But if you I'm like Runkle. I will be very sad and very upset, and if I find out that you've done it and you can't really afford it. So with that, back to this. So we've got, when we get enough members, all of these things will click into place. But there are going to be some extra bonuses for members. So there will be members only live streams. I will make sure that there will be ways for the community to connect. And we have different levels here. All of this is available on my website along with the merch. And hit the button there. And guys, I'm wearing the hoodie. Be well, do good, bark a lot. I got the hoodie. So anyway, that's my sponsoring of myself. We will do the doggy swoop. There is a bark in here. If you have a cat in your lap, you might want to hit mute because I haven't gotten the echo bark uploaded yet. All right. Let us end the evening with a chat about an apartment that was built over 4 years in a back corner of a mall in Providence, Rhode Island. And the Super Bowl. Those are the next 2 things on the list. They intersect in my mind. Whether or not they intersect in your mind, I don't know, but they intersect in my mind because art art is just one of those things that, really sticks it to the conventional capitalist way of thinking, right? So, if you have not seen the documentary, the Secret Mall Apartment, I don't know why that name is so hard for me to remember, but it is. The basic story behind this is that there was this group of artists that noticed, nope, Aurora, back up. Back in the late 90s in Providence, they were trying to gentrify an area sort of quickly, and it was the height of mall time. So they came up with plans to build this giant mall. It is huge. It is massive. Um, I've shopped the Providence Place Mall. It's pretty. It's also much. Um, and so while it was being built, there was this artist, an art professor who was paying attention to a dead space basically in the mall where it was clear there were no plans for it. It was significant space, but it wasn't really on anybody's radar. Significant dead space because there were a lot of curves and stuff. There are a lot of curves in the Providence Place Mall. But malls are built on box architecture. So the stores are all designed for boxes. So the curve leads to this space. And anyway, over the course of they noticed it and the mall opened. And as you can imagine, it's a time where arts versus capitalism, what counts as gentrification, what is gentrification versus what is, the attitude so many of these, mall builders, business guy types seem to have towards artists is that they aren't useful unless they can make somebody money, but they don't want to give them anything so that they can then make people money. It's just kind of wild to me. Because you could have a symbiotic relationship. You can have capitalism and arts work together. I don't know why. And so often it goes both ways. Like, but you can do that. They can work together. But there just seems to be this animosity. And in this particular case, there was a lot of animosity. The artists were feeling very much put upon by the capitalist nature, by the businessmen building this mall. The businessmen were feeling like the artists were in their way. And everybody seemed to be talking past each other. The mall opens, and this artist and this group of artists end up deciding that just they get to this empty hole in the mall. And over the course of 4 years, they turn it into an apartment. And they finally get busted when a couple of young mall security guards go poking and find the apartment that's not supposed to be there. Um, Now, I used to work campus security. There are 2 types of this type of security guard. There is the type that I was, that I hung out with, that were friends of mine. That type of security guard finds the thing and goes, "Oh, that well, it looks clean. Doesn't look like there's drug stuff anywhere. You know what? We're not paid enough to worry about it." And they walk away, and they don't tell anybody, and it continues. And then there are the ones who are security because they're on a power trip. And now they've found something that they can wield power over and wield power over the people. And that is exactly what happened here. The apartment gets busted. People find out about it. It's all over the news. And to me, this is for me, I cannot get into my head why the conversation with the mall business guys was not then, well, what other dead space do we have that you can turn into an art project? And is it safe for people to get there? Because I can understand like liability, right? I understand that you don't want to have anybody actually living there. The artists were not living there. They were overnight here and there and that kind of thing, but they weren't like living there. But I can understand that there are some liability issues, but I can also understand like if you have the opportunity with a group of artists who can transform spaces, like this can work for capitalism, right? You can pay the artists to go do something else that is cool. But no, businessman just got mad that he could have been getting money if he had paid attention. Like, I think the artist had to pay back rent for a space that they wouldn't even be allowed to rent, but because the artist made the thing, I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why we can't work together. And I don't understand why, when confronted with something like that, the conversation becomes a power play instead of, that was really cool. Let's work with the artists to make them all better, right? Instead of just having the Apple Store and Pottery Barn and Tiffany's, how do you then work with local artists and craftsmen? Because you have this huge building, and what is it? And honestly, if you look around the US right now, malls everywhere are shuttering, they're being closed, they're being repurposed, they're being turned into housing and things like that, because if somebody wants something from a mall store, they'll order it online. So instead of just putting all of I guess for me, it makes more sense to work with artists and craftsmen that are local and to mix the 2, and it seems like it would be more of a win-win situation. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know in the chat what you think, because I just I feel like it could have been a win-win-win, and instead everybody decided to fight each other, and no ultimate good seems to have come out of that particular incident. Anyway, I encourage you to go watch the documentary. I'm very fascinated by that. Also, the reason we have a documentary with such amazing footage is because the artists themselves documented this entire project. Also, children, I'm gonna need you to Google the camera that they used, because while we have our uh, this is really professional compared to what they were able to use at the time. technology has come a really long way in 20 years. And it was kind of wild to be like, "Oh, right, we did use that. We did." Um, Swoop, Bad Bunny, halftime show, and then I will Squirrel Swoop. Um, Mom says, "I would imagine the business moguls never had an art class of any kind." You're probably right. You're probably right because and I think that art I mean, you can't do math without music. Math and music are very intertwined. Art works your imagination, which allows you to see, say, a mill building and be able to transform it in your mind into something like housing or like a set of shops or things like that. So they go together. And I just I want to see it more integrated. I really really want to see it more integrated. And it leads right into the Super Bowl show that I mean, I watched the Bad Bunny one too. Do I speak Spanish? No, I do not. I do not speak any Spanish. Um, I learned French as a kid, and because I'm in Maine and Quebec is right upstairs. So I figured French was probably better for me to learn. But I found myself thinking a few things during the Super Bowl. Number one, I I was so mad when the Turning Point USA show had that many bots. They padded their numbers, my opinion. They padded their numbers because their incredibly white, gross show, um, gross in my opinion. It's not you can have your opinions, but like Bad Bunny was objectively a better show on every level. It was better put together. It was um cleaner, the music was better. Um it was just a better experience and vibe. And yes, I did check it out. I subjected myself to about a whole 5 minutes of the pyrotechnic American flag thing. I'm going to mention this every time I see a show like that. Do not ever talk to me about the flag code of conduct when you break it as part of your personality. Like when everything that you do in and around the flag breaks a level of the flag code of conduct, do not come talk to me about respect for the flag. Don't do it. If you are going to have that, I don't care. I do not if Kid Rock uses it as a poncho, I don't care. However, if you're gonna sit there and get all high and mighty about how the flag should be respected, maybe don't wear it as a uniform, because that breaks the flag code of conduct. Um, if you wanna see me get real fired up about it, there is a very old show on the old channel where I think Mandy and I, go over the whole flag code of conduct thing. But so this Turning Point USA Pyrotechnics red, white, and blue thing that they did, uh, that I think they had bots behind them because it was way too many places for the numbers that I was seeing or on the sites, which I think was also fueled a bit by bots. Um, yeah, they had a fraction of the views, and it was objectively not a particularly great show. It's also one of the few times I have actually seen anybody decide to do a thing like that. And why? Because, first of all, Puerto Rico is owned by the United States. Do I think they should be a state if they want to be? Yes. Um, it's weird, but anyway, they are American citizens. So don't come at me with they're not Americans 'cause, no. You would be wrong there. Also, I was thinking that while our nation does not have an official language, I don't know as English should be the only official language. Um, watching watching the Super Bowl halftime show, this is aside from the fact that it's amazing art, I would pull it up and we could go through it, except, um, it would come down so fast because music, all the music, YouTube would be like, "No, down girl." Um, oh, pause, side note. So, the Turning Point USA show had an issue with licensing. They didn't get the music that they were going to play on the show licensed for one of the channels. Personally, I'm kind of hoping that the copyright claim Autobots hit all 3 of the channels. That's me being super petty. Um, but that's what I would love. That we're never gonna find out. But petty me would love it if the ones that get me and all my friends when we play just 2 seconds of music came for all 3 of their channels. I'm never gonna get off that soapbox. Um, and yes, I squirreled sidetracked, so I'm coming back to it. So then you have the Bad Bunny halftime show. Great. Loved it. The millennial crew activated like a sleeper cell when Gasolina hit. Um, and it was great to see Ricky Martin and Lady Gaga. And I'm Bad Bunny appeared on the scene and hasn't come into my algorithm, and I've known of him. He's on my coffee list, but I haven't listened to a lot of his stuff. Great music, loved it. Um, but I found myself thinking as I was watching this that people like Megyn Kelly, right? Megyn Kelly lost her goddamn mind because it was in Spanish, and I'm like, we have a lot of Spanish speakers in this country, and a whole country, many countries right below us that speak Spanish, Puerto Rico that speaks Spanish, and I found myself thinking, hot take, that our country is so big that we should actually be like the Netherlands. At least 20 years. My information with the Netherlands is 20 years out of date. So please, if you're from there or have friends and family there, correct me if I am wrong. Please, please correct me if I am wrong. Over there, because the Netherlands is in a spot where there's a lot of tourism and a lot of people passing through as they're going from one place to another, they they get taught 4 languages from the time they're little, right? So everybody grows up speaking Dutch, English, German, and French. And I found myself thinking here in the US that we should have 4 languages minimum that we are taught from the time we're small. Because if you try and teach everything in high school, sorry, the brain wiring doesn't work that way. You have to start when kids are little, um, in order to get the brain wiring to work right for language. And now I don't know that I do not have the exact psychology papers on that, but that is a thing. and there may be some updates to that, but the basics are the same. And here's my thought. I would love to hear your thoughts, chat. I want to hear. Leave what you think the 4 or 5 languages for this country should be, for the US should be. Because I think, or if you think we should have one, I'm curious as to which one you think we should have as a national language and why. I'm really curious. I really want to have this conversation, and we can continue it over on Threads. We can continue it on Instagram, but I'd love for you to put this in the comments, please, 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 because I want to know. I want to know. I think our 4 languages should be English, Spanish. Mom, help me out if you're still watching. What did I say? English, Spanish. Was it French and Korean? Because we have a huge Korean population in this country, and I feel like, what was that? It was French. It was French. English, Spanish, French, Korean. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Mama. Much appreciated. Um, that's what I think. And I'm curious what y'all think about that. I'm gonna leave it with that question. I wanna know, Chad, I between now and next week, I wanna know, what do you think the 4 to 5 languages for the United States should be as official languages that we all start learning when we are 5 years old, 5, 6. We start in kindergarten, we go from there. I wanna know. Let us I Okay, I'm gonna swoop. I'm gonna say farewell. I will get things time stamped soon. This one is gonna be a bear to timestamp, so we're just gonna go with that. I'm gonna swoop real quick. And then I'm gonna go on to my real life and I'm gonna call my bestie, and we're gonna chit chat. I want to thank you all for joining me here. Let me know what news stories, what you want me to cover. We could go over the congressional hearings. I mean, if you feel like it would be a cathartic thing to just like have me pull up some of that C-SPAN footage and we can all scream into the cosmic void together, let me know. At the end of the day, I'm here to create this community. Um, we're building it. It's going to be great. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, New things. We got to stick together. There's so much happening right now. So, as always, if you have news stories you want me to cover, if you want my takes on certain things, if there are creators you want me to go check out and bring that through, um, please let me know, because I keep trying. And here's how this goes for anybody. You're new here. This is how the week usually goes for me. I come on, I do the show, I log off, maybe Sunday, maybe Monday, usually Tuesday or Wednesday. I listen to my own self and get timestamps and get those adjusted onto things. And then I have an idea for a show. And I get a whole bunch of stuff ready for the show. And then the regime takes my plans and yeets them into the sun and hits me and all of us with, mayhem and violence and chaos. And then I don't know whether I'm coming or going and what have you. So just bear with me as I get used to this roller coaster that we are on. I feel like I'm forgetting updates of things. Anyway, you'll let me know. You'll let me know in the comments. And on the website, barksalotmedia.com, there is a contact form. You can go ahead and email me over there. And if you want first looks at everything, you can sign up over there for to be on the email list, and email list gets first looks at everything as and memberships and all of that. Um the merch store is open, Barks a Lot Media. It's the not the if you it just click on the link on my website. It's Bark a Lot Shop, but it's on the website. Anyway, you guys are amazing. Thank you for bearing with me as I had one of the most chaotic shows I think I've ever done. Oh, trust me. Trust me. I will outdo myself. I will. Um Anyway, there's a lot. We're in an election year, so there is going to be so much to cover. Call your representatives. Be annoying. Be like a dirt gnat. Especially if you have representatives like we do, like Jared Golden and Susan Collins here in Maine. It's time to go be a dirt gnat. Um, with that, everybody, you are amazing. Thank you for hanging with me. Do all the likey, subscribing things. It really helps. If you like this, if you've got a friend and you're like, hey, my friend would love this. Um, for the algorithm for building the community, go ahead and scoot it along their way. Much appreciated. And I hope everybody has an amazing week. Can we have a quiet week? I need a quiet week. I hope you all have a great Valentine's Day. I hope you give all of your loved ones a huge hug. Um and yeah, we got this. We got this, guys. We'll make it through. We'll make it through. I do owe you a bonus stream. I don't know when that's going to happen. February is a short month that takes 97 years. And yeah. So anyway, I will see you next Saturday. I will. I will see you next Saturday. We will have a great show. I promise I will get caught up on traders by then so we can have an extra bonus, whatever. As always, ladies and gentlemen, be well, do good, and remember, bark a lot. I will see you on the next one. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Bark a Lot. Follow me on Threads and Insta at the Aurora H. White. That's where I post most frequently between shows. Hit that like button, connect with us, and remember to bark a lot. We will see you next time.